Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and this is a celebratory YouTube post because I have officially paid off more than $20,000 worth of student loan debt and car loan debt, and it's really exciting to just see those numbers. When I go through the actual breakdown, it's going to switch over to a voiceover just so you guys can see that. But I'm super excited. Last year I started this financial freedom journey and I was reading about a book a week on finances, how to manage your money, how to grow your wealth, and really just live a fruitful life. I think that it's really important to be financially independent, and that's something that I seek and what I want in my life because I think it'll give me time to just give back in other ways. I think for me, what makes me happiest is not having to owe anyone anything, but being able to do things for others just because I want to. And so I can't wait for that time. And this will come from Dave Ramsey, where you get to be giving to others, financial giving. Like, I think that that's such an awesome thing. And I think that's a great point in life. And right now I'm just giving all my money to a institution that doesn't even care, this higher education institution that makes millions of dollars a year and charges ridiculous amounts on students, and it's just crazy. So I do regret the school that I went to for nursing school. My first degree was pretty cheap. It was a useless degree because I don't use it. I'm sure others have found it fine, the ones that used it to go to like medical school or dental school or whatever other professional school. But I never wanted to do those things. And so that actual field itself just wasn't worth it. Like the first job I was offered, having a master's in that field, was 40 some $1,000 for a master's in chemistry. My first year as a nurse, I made $83,000, and I would have made a little bit more, but a few hiccups happened at the end of the year, so I didn't pick up. I made that much because I was taking extra shifts. Otherwise, I probably would have made 60,000 without picking up. So yeah, and all you need is an associate's, mind you. So $60,000 with an associate's degree in nurses versus $40,000 with a master's in chemistry. Useless degree. So with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the voiceover to show you the exact breakdown and exactly how much I paid from last year, March 2021, to this year, March 2022. All right, so let's get into this. This is just a breakdown of my student loans and my car loan. I didn't include the federal loans just because it's a smaller portion of what I owe, and also because they were on a pause, so I didn't really contribute anything to my federal loans over the course of the past year. Of course, when the pause ends, I'll start including them and I'll start paying more towards those loans because they are higher interest than everything that is listed here right now. So I definitely want to get those out of the way. And I kind of like paying the higher interest ones off first. Thankfully, some of the little ones are actually higher interest than my bigger loans, so it works out. But I am planning on also paying my car off first too, just because that will give me greater satisfaction. And even though it doesn't make the most number sense, I think that it's true that the personal feelings you have towards your loans really does make a huge difference in how you pay things off, and like it's just more than numbers. Like, you have to think about how you feel about it too, because it does play a big factor. And so for me, having that car loan out and those little small ones out would just give me the best satisfaction. So yeah, as you can see, I owe a lot of money, over $100,000 worth of debt, which is crazy to actually say that number out loud. I never wanted to tell anyone this number because I guess I was ashamed. I didn't have to go to such an expensive nursing school, and I probably would have been done with all of my debt had I not gone there. Just because so much interest accrued while I was in that program, because I was given such a high rate during the program. Thankfully, I was able to refinance, and so that 90 some thousand is at 3.5%. But while I was in school, like, it was in the double digits, and so like I had $8,000 worth of interest, and it just kind of sucks. And I had many sleepless nights because of it. But I'm glad that I got on this financial journey and started paying things off, because now it seems so much more manageable. So this is how much I have now in 2022, which is crazy to think that I was able to pay off so much. So for my biggest loan, I went from 92,000 to $83,000. My next loan, $2,800, just to below $1,000. I paid off about half of my Heartland, and then the second Heartland one that actually is also under a pause. So originally it wasn't, and then they emailed me and said that it would be. So I only ended up paying a few $100s on that and putting the rest towards that first one that still was accruing interest. And then for my car loan, of course, I paid that down deposit initially when I bought the car, and then about another $6,000. So just a full breakdown on how much I actually paid of each. For Earnest, I paid $8,744.49 within a year. For the USA, I paid $2,105. And then for the first Heartland loan, I paid $1,361.53. And then, of course, $400 for that last one. The $6,000 down payment for my car, and then an additional $6,222.09 on my car. So seeing these new numbers is just crazy to think how much like it's decreased, because I don't get the satisfaction of wiping one away, and I didn't have that for the year, but now I can just tally everything up, and it feels really good to see that huge number. And so without further ado, the net payoff is $24,828.16. So that is super exciting. All right, so that number, $24,000, 24,828.16. That is so crazy that I was able to pay that much in just 1 year. 1 year of focusing, 1 year of picking up extra shifts, 1 year of being highly disciplined. I wasn't buying things for myself. I wasn't going on any trips. Thankfully, with the pandemic, that kind of limited me from trips. I did have some trips at the end of the year, though, and I had my sister's wedding, things like that. So those, of course, affected some of my budgeting and stuff. But overall, like, I learned about sinking funds and planning ahead for things like that. So I was able to pay for my car insurance, and I pay for mine and my mom's together. So paying for that in unison, and it was $800, but I had the money there. It wasn't like a stressful thing. And so becoming just financially literate has just been so great for me, and has boosted just how I live and how I think about money and how I manage it. So awesome this past year to have that much growth, because I paid $24,000 worth of student loan debt and car loan debt, but I've also invested another $20,000 on top of that. And so that's 45,000 about dollars that went into increasing my net worth. The rest of the money I made, that went to living. Part of it, I'm kind of curious. I'm just like, what else did I spend? But, utilities, I was paying for utilities at home, groceries at home as well. So those little things added up. I also was in a wedding, so that cost a lot of money to go to the wedding and be in the wedding party. I was in the wedding party for 2 different weddings. So those costs definitely added up. And then there are a couple of family tragedies. So, the cost of traveling, lodging, all of that added up too. So that's kind of where the rest of my money went. I'm not a strict dollar budgeter. I automate everything. So my savings are automated. My investments are automated. I had those goals in mind. And once I hit those goals, it was kind of like, okay, well, extra money can go to paying down debt, but extra money can also just go to my savings or to a couple of things that I want. Besides paying down debt and investing, I also wasn't really living too much of my life. And I know that Dave Ramsey always advocates, you shouldn't see restaurants or whatever until all your debt is paid off. But I think that I am going to take a little bit of a different approach, just because life sometimes is short, and I don't know what my life will hold. I don't know if I'll be ill one day. And so while I am going to keep investing and have those goals and rigorously pay down my debt, I also want to take some time to spend with my family and to go on trips. Traveling is something that just renews me and makes me happy. And so I want to have some trips this year. So I've traveled already a lot back home this year, but I do want to take a trip to potentially Hawaii and maybe one international trip this year. So the goal is to have a couple sinking funds for those trips, so that way I'm able to do those things and still pay down a lot of my debt. Travel nursing, of course, has helped. If the rates decrease for travel nursing, I'm just going to stay on the West Coast because the West Coast pays the most, even though cost of living is a little bit higher. When you compare it and you even out the cost of living from where I was to where I'd be going, I still would be making about $40,000 more in California after cost of living is adjusted, which is kind of crazy to think. But I would be able to max out my 401k living there versus me living in Ohio on the salary I was making. And I still would be able to pay everything else off and then also have a rent because I was living at home. So it's just crazy to think that there is such a huge difference in pay and also just how nurses are treated. So that would be kind of my next step. Since nurses are always in demand, I know I will always have a job, and so that's a great thing. I'm also looking forward to starting some other business ventures. I don't want to work for someone else forever. I thought I wanted to go back to school, and that's still something that's on the list. But I don't know. I kind of want to work for myself and create my own thing. And that's the next journey for me. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you can stay tuned on my next journey and my next financial topic. If you're curious how much I made exactly, want to see a breakdown of that, just leave a comment below and I'll see if I can make a video for you guys on that. So with that said, that concludes this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.